Hello everyone, welcome to my first ever layout video. I have done videos about my layouts in the past, but they were always either about the small desktop layouts or that one video with the GoPro camera. But this is different because this is my first video showing an actual big layout on the floor. And this layout is very special to me, not just because it's the first layout I'm filming like this, but also because I haven't been able to build a layout like this in a very long time, in more than a year, which is why I had to make those desktop layouts, because they were the only type of layouts I could really do. And that was because of many reasons, but most of them were lack of space, because I share this room with my brother, but he's gone for the week, so I have this room for myself. So I have gotten rid of all the things that were in the way and put them somewhere else. And now I had a lot more space to build a layout, and so I decided to use as much of my pieces that I could. All of them, but that didn't work out. But I still used more than I thought I could, and I am very satisfied with the result. I'm also happy that I was able to put in all of my new destinations. I'll point them out every time we reach some. We each one. So without any further ado, I'm going to show exactly how this layout is built and where each line goes. We'll start, of course, at Navret Station, where we have some of the world's finest express engines and Spencer. Gordon and Molly are on platforms 1 and 2, and they are the platforms that go to the main line. The main line is actually mostly double-tracked on this layout, which I think is really nice. First, the main line goes under this road bridge, then under the single gantry, and then one of the tracks of the main line goes up, and then through this church until it reaches here. We'll get to that later. While the second line goes through the airport where Pip and Emma are, and then it goes through a junction which also leads to the Steamworks. The Steamworks is a big wooden garage that, well, it was intended to be just a garage, but I use it as the Steamworks and also as the headquarters of the pack. And of course we have Victor and Kevin here, and we also have here these special crossings, which are great because you can put them anywhere, and I decided to put them here. We also have Henry's Forest here, and Henry, and Wellsworth Station. Wellsworth Station is one of the new pieces that I got, and this is the first time I use it on an actual layout, and it's the take-along version. Then the main line goes behind this house, and then it goes up where it connects with the other track, other line. This is what I suppose is Gordon's Hill, because it's on the main line and it's a hill, so I guess it works. And we also have Douglas crashing the spiteful caboose here, so it's definitely Gordon's Hill. We also have this station, which I suppose is Maron on this layout because Maron is on Gordon's Hill. And we also have Daisy. Daisy is one of the newest trains in my collection, so another piece I was excited to put on this layout. The track that reached the hill first continues this way, and then it just reaches Navret Station again, platform 1 specifically. And the other line reaches a junction, and if you go right, and then straight from which Murdoch came, you reach Navret Station again. And at Navret, there is a small yard. It's mostly these two sidings, which are currently blocked by bulgy because the line to them crosses the road. And there's also this small siding for the Navret Station pilot. But back to the main line, If you don't go right here and you continue left, you reach another junction. And if you turn left on it, you reach Bandom Docks. Bandom Docks isn't anything too special this time, it's just 3 sidings, but with what I could do, I think it turned out well. Of course, we have Porter, Salty, and Cranky here, as well as some boats. I especially like this one. This is a burial item, and the way it works is that there's... Oh, okay. The way it works is that there are barriers, and when it reaches this special piece, the barriers lift and the engine can leave. And we have some international engines visiting. I also put some wooden blocks here so that it would look like this is one of those harbors where the rails are embedded in concrete. And we also have a forklift here. Back to the main line, or I suppose this isn't the main line anymore, this is now the main line loop. If you continue this way, you reach another junction where Splatter and Dodge have derailed, and if you turn left, you reach the wharf, but I'm not going to show the wharf just yet, just going to point out this junction so that you know where it was. If you continue down the main line loop, you reach a narrow gauge crossing, and Toby's windmill, where Emily is picking up some flour, but I think she's going to be late. And then we reach this tunnel, where Stanley has gotten stuck because he's too big for it. And there is also an animal field here. But the loop then reaches a hill, on top of which Fergus and Mavis are just delivering a stone chain. And then the hill reaches the top of the Blue Mountain Quarry, where Standard Gauge Luke is currently preparing his next attack. Also, Merrick is here. And then it goes down. Here Donald is delivering Culdee, and it reaches Tinmouth Sheds. And then it goes directly to Napford Station, specifically platform 3. And since we're here, I'm going to show Tinmouth Sheds quickly. The sheds are made up of 2 smaller sheds, and of course the turntable. In the big sheds, we have some visiting British Airways engines. We have Samson, Stepney, Ginty, Hurricane, and D199. There is a siding between the 2 sheds. And on the siding and in the smaller shed, we have some more visiting diesels. But if we continue down the loop, we reach platform 3, where Rebecca is. And the track on platform 3 connects with the track on platform 4 with Spencer. And then it goes up to where Edward and Rocky are. And then it turns right back, where Diesel 10, PT Boomer, and Bash are. And then it goes downhill and it reaches another of my new items, which is the Waterfall Tunnel. This is a destination I have wanted ever since I was a child, and the way it works is really simple because you can just push engines through the waterfall. It's simple, but it's a lot of fun, and it can also be used as a bridge, but I didn't do that on this layout because I didn't have any opportunities for it. And then the line goes again through the Tinmouth Sheds turntable to the track where A and Bert are. I don't have any scrapyards or ironworks destinations, so they're just here. And then you continue straight until you reach this part of the line which Carly and Sandy are repairing. And then you return right back to the main line where Murdoch is with the chain, and that just takes you back to platforms 1, 2, or 3 if you want. But you don't have to go right back to the main line. You can also turn right or left from the viewer's point of view. And that takes you to the Blue Mountain Quarry. The Blue Mountain Quarry is the part where the narrow gauge engines are introduced, and it consists of some dual gauge tracks and some standard gauge ones, and narrow gauge ones. The standard gauge section is just this line which continues from Oliver's line, and it ends here at this junction. And then the dual gauge line is actually it's pretty much most of the course, so I'm just going to point out the narrow gauge ones, and the rest is going to be dual gauge. The siding on which Mighty Mac and Millie are, this is Millie, those are narrow gauge. This siding is also narrow gauge, and this shed is also narrow gauge, and also this line where Duke is. Which means that the lines on which Marion, Timothy, Peter, Sam, and Aeneas are, those are dual gauge. And about Duke's line, that goes to the back of the mountain, and it reaches this station, which I suppose could be Crowlan's Gate. I know it's not connected to the standard gauge line, but the design of the station makes it look like Crowlan's Gate. There we have Smudger and Proteus, and if you don't go to the station, it's a dead end, so it doesn't go anywhere. If you don't go to the station, you reach the line where Luke is. So that's the narrow gauge part, and the standard gauge engines, if they want to leave, then they can either go from Peter Sam's line to Aeneas's, which takes them back to where they came from, so they can turn around, or they can go this way, to the Duck Pond crossing. I know a duck pond isn't the best thing to have right next to a quarry, but there weren't a lot of places where I could put it. And the Duck Pond crossing is my last new destination, so again very excited to have it on a layout. And then the Duck Pond crossing takes you back to Knapford Station, platform 4 with Spencer. And Spencer's track also has a little siding, which ends in a ramp, which means that you could technically use it to get to the turntable even this way. It doesn't really work the best, but, well, I thought it'd be nice, so I couldn't do a lot. And before I return to the narrow gauge line, I'm going to show the road section. The road part of this layout starts at the Sodor Steamworks, because the company which made this garage also made its own road system, and I have some of the pieces. So first it goes up, where Flynn is scolding Max and Monty for racing. Flynn is another of my new items. And then it goes down through the city. And next to my own station is this piece, which I have made myself out of cardboard. And it exists to connect this road system to the Thomas Wooden Railway one, because the way these road pieces are designed means that you can't really connect them to any other track pieces. So I have had to make my own switch. It's not perfect, but it's not really that important. It functions fine, so I'm just going to keep it. So the road then continues over the line to the yard, which Bulgy is blocking. And just quickly, I want to point out this level crossing is a 3D print designed by the Autotank engine from Tinkercad. And the way it works is it works the same as these kinds of crossings, except the top line is for the road. And it's a very useful piece because, well, I don't think I need to explain it. But it doesn't connect to itself very well, unfortunately. And then the road just continues through this gas station, and it ends here. And again, before I get back to the narrow gauge airway, I'm going to quickly show the Arsdale airway. The Arsdale airway on my layouts is always made using adventurous track and take and play engines. And this is because, first of all, wooden airway doesn't have racks, but take and play does. And also, you know how weird it is that all of the 3 gauges use the same scale? Well, I can tolerate it with the narrow gauge engines, but I just can't with the miniature engines. So I have decided to use the take and play versions instead. And this is also great because they are more compact, so I can fit more stuff here. So the Arsdale airway, I suppose, starts here, where it's just a loop. Here is the lane where the fat clergyman's car splashed bird. And then you can either go this way, where you reach, I suppose, the yard or the depot. You have some sidings here for the engines and also my custom jog. And you can also go this way, which goes under Gordon's Hill. This isn't really a biblically accurate Sodor layout. But then it reaches the chute at Arsborough. The chute at Arsborough is made using an adventurous hill and some wooden blocks which I have arranged to be a support piece for the chute, so that the adventurous track would stay there. Oops, a flag fell. I have Mike here and one of my take and play tracks, and under the chute is Ryan with some tracks. And Ryan then can go to platforms 2, 3, and technically 4, I guess. And I think that is everything. So I'm going to go back to the narrow gauge line. So as I said, the narrow gauge line is most of the Blue Mountain quarry, pretty much everything except Oliver's line here. And it's also this line on which Duke is, which also goes here. And then you come to these points. If you go left to where Hank is, only standard gauge engines can do that. And the other line is only for the narrow gauge engines. So this is where that crossing is with the mainline loop. There is a gate for the narrow gauge engines so that they don't accidentally run into any big mainline engines. Here we have Rusty with the narrow gauge breakdown train. And then finally, the line reaches the wharf. The wharf is a destination, or not a destination, a place which doesn't often appear on my layouts. Usually I just put Colin in a yard, but this time I thought I would make the space for it. And it turns out this was actually a really good idea, because it meant I had a second location the narrow gauge airway could go over, so this actually turned out well. Of course we have Colin here, but there's also Freddy and Skiff. And the line on which Skiff is the same one that diverges from the mainline loop which I have showed a while ago. It also has this crossing here. And the narrow gauge line ends in buffers, but the standard gauge line actually can be either used as the boat dock for this boat, or it can be used as a boat dock for the super cruiser. I just had to put it on a layout because it's my favorite thing ever. So of course we have some more international engines. This is Gina. And this isn't the best connection. I have actual adapters so I could put them here, but I also want the super cruiser to be able to leave easily whenever it wants to. And I have also put this ramp here, which is for a Skiff, so that he can run into the water and then go back. I don't have Asbury Harbor here, but I think the wharf is a good second place for Skiff's Amp. And I also want to point out that the design of the wharf was partially inspired by one of the layouts made by Thomas Wooden Railway. I forgot which layout it was, but in one of them it was two narrow gauge tracks, which ended at the buffers here next to Colin. So I basically did just that, except one of the lines was standard gauge and had a boat dock. And I believe that just might be everything. Before I end the video, I just want to highlight a few things. First, there are these special pieces which I don't think many people know about, and it's these special half cores, which, as the name suggests, are only 22.5 degrees angled, big, I don't know what the word is, and they're extremely useful because, for example, if I didn't have them, I just couldn't connect this line with the turntable. There just wasn't any way, so I would have to do something completely different, which would be very inconvenient. But instead, I was able to connect these two. Another place I used it was at the siding here, because the way these two sheds are built makes it very hard to build checks between them. But these pieces made it work. I also use them here and here where Douglas and James are, and somewhere else I think. No, that just might be it. Anything else? Oh yes. There are also these. I'm trying to find an example, but it's another check piece from IKEA, and oh, this is a good example. IKEA's old check system, which I don't think they make anymore, was basically, it worked like this. Every single piece and every end on every single piece ended with a female connector. And you also had these plastic pieces which you could put between the checks. And this meant that these pieces are very versatile because you can use them to connect layouts which otherwise wouldn't be able to fit any adapters. But these check pieces can function as adapters, so they were very useful to me. And I think the last thing, oh, I almost forgot. We have Mr. Percival's bike at the quarry. It's just a Lego bike, but it works well for the scale. But near the Owens Gate station, we have this crossing, which isn't connected to anything. And that's because these are the old abandoned tracks to the Mid-Sodor Railway. And I always like to put little pieces of lore into my layouts, because it implies that they are part of a world with its own history, and it just makes the world seem bigger. I did a similar thing here, where I put a broken switch, and I put a barrier on one of the tracks, on the broken track, so that this way it looks like this used to go somewhere, but then the track was ripped up and now only the points remain. And I believe that should be everything. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to take this layout down in a few days, but until then I plan to enjoy it as much as I can, because I had a lot of fun building it, and I'm sure I'm going to have even more fun playing with it. And I haven't even playtested it yet, so maybe it turns out that this layout is complete garbage when it comes to playing with chains. But when I look at it, I think it's going to be alright. So this was everything, and thank you for watching.